Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We have secured ourselves a base in the Steelcap district, so next step in the journey is of course to clear whatever remains of this area and make some progression towards the harbor. So last episode we improved some gear, and in between that has only gotten better. Just quickly glancing over at my note to the side, we have some slightly better resistances now. That's of course always something to keep an eye out for. So now I have slightly better pants, which have triple resists, which is pretty neat. Also the increase to armor effect, all armor of course, on all pieces, which is neat. Also got some shoulder pieces to replace this one at level 55, but of course we're not 55 yet, so we can't quite use it yet. Though the deadly aim and range expertise on this, it's... Oh, if you get items with bonuses to skills on them, that always make them slightly more difficult to replace. Because, well, it's more difficult to quantify skill points. And I shuffled some of the components around. So there's now an ether soul in the amulet. So my ether resistance is up a little bit. It used to be around 40-ish. And it's a little better now. And there's some dense fur in here to max out the cold. So across the board, resistances are in a pretty decent shape. And especially once I have the Word of Renewal up. Then even Ether and Chaos are above 60. Vitality is at 65, so it's dropped a little bit from being maxed, but no, maxing out almost all other resistances is kind of worth it, in my opinion. And especially not having a pretty big gap with Ether is useful as we get towards the end of Malmouth, where, well, the final boss is very, very, very much ether based. So having some resistance to ether, at least enough so that with the help of the Spirit Bane ointment I can max myself out, then it's gonna be a good thing. Let's see, this just ties back to where we came from. Wait, it just faded out. That is it. So I'm wondering, because if no part of it faded, it was like, wait, where is this leading to? But this is the way forward. Don't mind me, I'm just a little confused. A little bit more resistances, a little bit more damage. Now across the board things are improving. But still, there's quite a number of shots that we need to use in order to take down groups of enemies. The legendary effect from the Gauntlets of Ignaffar to cause the explosions on attack is pretty neat. That feels like the Gauntlets of Ignaffar definitely feel like they boosted the build in quite a way. Oh, now having pushed the resistances a bit up across the board, hopefully it's gonna help me survive a little bit. No, because then now the idea is of course that the longer you can stay standing still, hitting things in the face without really suffering too much in terms of damage, the faster you can kill things, the safer you're gonna be. Now hit and run is only a strategy that you need to use if standing still and hitting is not an option. Ooh, that one was nicely frozen. Too bad they don't really seem to body block each other too much. Would have been very convenient. Now just freeze one enemy, then the other ones are just milling about a bit idly. Or maybe to a certain degree they do block each other, but their hitboxes are just smaller than the model. See, because they're just completely overlapping here. Don't think I ever really consciously noticed that. Funny enough. Let's see if we can get a larger group of enemies together. See if we can pay a little bit more attention to exactly how they are overlapping or spacing out. Because no, they do mill about a bit, and no, it's not like they're all stacking in the same place. And especially if I draw them to one corner, they do keep some space in between them, but it's not as much. So it's almost like that the hitboxes of the enemies are like regular sized humanoids, and these larger things, they appear larger, but their hitbox is not. Hello there, Guardian. Oh, you're only a white Guardian. But still, took quite some shots. Okay, so let's send the supplies back. That is one of the things that we are doing here, of course. Okay, so this is the temple church thing. We'll return there later for Yvonne's memory. The first playthrough I did not complete that quest this time. Let's see if we find Yvonne's memory, then we're gonna go back there. At least I hope I'll remember to go back there. And then I'll have a look and see if we can find the treasure chests she has hidden there. But to do that, we do first need to go to the harbor. Hello there, large things. Okay. Not entirely a fan of large things throwing big punches. Good thing is, they are not really a fan of me shooting things in their face either. Turns out, shooting things in their face wins. Okay. Little secret here with hidden spoils. Ah, corpse. Sometimes corpses give more than the treasure chests that they lie next to. One of those interesting little details about the game. Okay, another bunch of large ones. Oh, and we're getting ambushed in the back here. Oh, and did I just hover over a corpse and it didn't spot? I think I did. And once more, there's loot. Let's see, this just ties back to where we came from. And then... Oh, yeah, the temple thing is still something I need to walk through. I just don't have to go downstairs. That's the little mistake I made there. There's at least one hero in there, for the rest they're also shiny. Difficult to make out if there's more. You are electrified and gone. Nice. Ooh, Mark of the Myrmidon. So down there, which is where we will go at some other point. I seem to remember that when we come out of here, down there, we're gonna get ambushed like hell. So let's put down at least a couple of traps. At least with my skeleton necro. I remember getting mobbed here. And I remember my skellies dying incredibly rapidly. Am I truly misremembering this, or was that just a incredibly unlucky spawn? Okay, let's take out the cluster. Okay, it's a little crowded, but... Right, yeah, see, there's the spike damage. There's the spike damage. Note to self, stand inside of the protective circle. It's not really protecting me if I'm not standing inside of it. And that is them. Oh. So this definitely was a little easier now that I don't have a whole army of skeletons to keep alive for my damage and survivability needs. All I need is just myself. And that's definitely a big difference with the Necromancer. You don't really have the added survivability from and damage of having a whole army of minions around. But in reverse, that's not your weakness either. Let's see, Vivian and Nevin. Hello. Oh yeah, he's pretty in a bad shape. But yeah, don't want to carry, doesn't really look too good. Let me talk to him first. Okay, she's a good girl. He's not really in the best of shapes. Okay. Save Vivian. Okay. Then we lied to her, but we did talk to him first. Okay, then we can send him. And because we talked to him first and basically got his consent, the quest is a little different than when you talk to her first and not to him afterwards. So we sent him. Okay, so don't bother, my time has come and I'm okay with that. But listen, before you go, I used to own an imports shop down at the Blackar and the docks. When the attack started, my partner and I gathered all of our supplies in there. We barricaded the door to keep out looters. Well, I suppose someone like yourself won't have any trouble breaking through. Whatever you find in there is yours. My partner is dead and I'll be joining him soon enough. Now, let me rest. So, oh, thank you. I'll go looking for it. So, you don't get this one if you don't do the quest talking in the order here that you first talk to Clark before sending Vivian through. Otherwise, it's a little odd. That's what I remarked on the first time I played it, that the dialogue felt very odd. And that is, well, you're supposed to talk with both and then you get quest-based access to the shop in the harbor. Okay. That's a lot of undead here, or ether mob corruption things. So there's a whole bunch of ground effects going on, definitely doing a decent chunk of damage to me. But as long as I'm able to just power through it, we will do exactly that. Hello there, Flash Weaver, Heraxis. Names are always a little interesting. Okay, you know what, let's take a small step back here, do a heal, and then just kill him. Good. And then take out your backup here. Putting the lightning teller on the Guardian definitely helps to know whatever he's sending your way will get zapped for a bit. Or whatever it is sending. Don't think they really are gendered. And after that, it is surprisingly easy to just get here. Trying to remember whether there was another quest I needed to go here or not. Could be that at the end we will need a little bit extra, but there's plenty of motivation to go here anyway. Oh, we have the Richter's stash that we can open up here in the docks or in the harbor. And that's a set for Yvonne's memory. I think there was some clue somewhere in the harbor as well. Yeah, see? This one was not properly body blocking it because he was frozen and the other ones just waltzed on through. And this looks like a pretty narrow section. So eventually there are a couple of connections from the harbor back to the other area that we can take. City guard log. Also we gain a level here. Let's spend some points. And what was that one? Abandoned weapons. Hey, we were looking for those as well. See, there's just plenty of ground effects that are ether based, so I'm very happy with the bonuses I gave myself to the ether resistance. And let's see, yeah, we're still now slowly working my way towards blast shield. Along the way, we'll at least put a point into Ozon's Wrath, put a point into Temper, no, just to have the 1 pointers there. Along the way we'll also grab Static Strike, the chance to knock down. It's a small chance though. And I heard that Brimstone is actually a really good one, even though it is all the way at the end. And we're probably not gonna get a high enough level to grab it along the way. At least not in this series, but that is something to keep an eye out for if you plan to play a build like this into higher difficulties. Okay, this one is a bit of a tough pucker. And that is the last of the shipments. Let's see, this connects back to here, but we need to be there. So many directions to go to. Let's actually just walk back, clear out the bit to where we came from, and then move forward. I know there's a couple of quests that are reputation based in the harbor area as well, so it could be that we don't even have enough reputation to do them just yet. That's the timing and the ordering of the quest is sometimes a little awkward depending on whether you have killed enough enemies or not of certain factions to warrant getting the next one. Right, so this is where we were. And then from here we should be able to get to the backside there to the detonation and then wrap that one up. Ooh. Yeah, it's once you've cleared everything, then no walking back through it to certain edges of the thing shouldn't be too much of an issue, though it still feels like a relatively large area that you're more or less having to walk through multiple times in order to do all the things that need to be done. So it's a little awkward in that regard. But then again, part of the game. Let's see, there's some stuff up here. At least some boxes. Not a corpse. And this was not a wealthy corpse. Sometimes the random observations and comments in this game are just as odd as you would have them in, say, like a game as RimWorld. Okay, I think I want to be out of here, pretty please. It's getting a little too crowded here. Let's go back to a little bottleneck here. Put down a nice safety marker. Shout the horn in their face and then just shoot them. Even if it's not perfect with the bottlenecks, and even if you can't keep all of them at bay, it's better to have maybe like 3 or 4 monsters in front of you than 10 around you. Because 10 monsters do more damage than 4. It's really, really simple that way. And my health was not in a incredibly good state there when I got surrounded by all of them. So this, I think, was just mostly a long corridor. A corridor-like thing. So it could be this more or less just directly ties into the Crown Hill waypoint. Because that's what we needed the explosive for, right? To blow up the gates to Crown Hill. So why won't you be... Yes. It was very much resisting getting zapped. No, these boardwalks here with some open spaces and things like that definitely favor a range build, since you can now shoot at things without them gunning at you, and it's more difficult for you to get surrounded. Mistake I keep making is to not cast my lightning tether too far enough into the group. It's better to just tag something in the back of a group and then keep shooting at their colleagues, rather than putting it on something in front, because that way you hit more things with the actual tether. It's too far away for the lightning tether here, but let's just say not entirely happy about getting too surrounded by enemies, so we'll just do a little bit of well, hitting and running. And then once all the enemies are down, we just pick up the loot and then we push forward. And then most of the add-ons are gone, and after that we can just take out the sentinel. Good thing is, a lot of the attacks, or a number of the attacks, they shoot extra projectiles, things like that. So even if you're just focusing on the biggest, baddest enemy in the area, as just a side effect of you shooting, you're gonna hit multiple smaller mobs in the area. So that's actually pretty efficient. There we go. Got a shard. Okay, so this just takes us further and further. What I wanted to do was actually backtrack here a little bit. Okay, then we got the Lighthouse. That's a small separate side area, but at least here we can explode the barricades. And that mostly just takes us back to town, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I wonder if the intention here is that you can just walk from town through here to the docks if need be. Let's just go back to town, have a quick chat with the people. Because you sent us out for the supplies. Well, we got him. Then he wants us to look for people who are hiding in the harbor. You still want us to help him more. Yeah, see, we just need to help the guy more. Oh, we picked up some blueprints. Eye of the Storm. Mythical relic with +1 to shaman skills. Not quite useful. So, just... let's see, let's just go back to where we were. This might be a longer episode than normal, but that is because there is just a lot of stuff to do in this area. And I'd prefer to just do it all in one go. Okay, so the Lighthouse has at least one purple boss in here, but he's got multiple places where he could be. I've encountered them over here, but also over there, depending on the luck of the draw. I seem to remember it was a summoner of sorts. So I'm just gonna mostly weave through here from one side to the other and see if we can take him out. Because of course, getting purple enemies is always a good thing. Decent chance of getting decent loot. And I happen to like getting good loot. Okay, you... Ooh, bottleneck. Yeah, see, they're bunching up. That helps a little bit. Well, yes, worms coming from the floor. Not really a happy thing, but they do trickle in rather than appearing all at once. And if they trickle in, then we have enough firepower to take them out. There's a flesh shaper in the back. I don't think he'll ever actually get close enough. They're just simply too slow. Which works to my advantage. Now it's the enemies that are tougher and that have some sort of charge ability. Those are the ones to watch out for, since you just can't kill them when they come at you, and they come at you quickly. But no, these no shambling zombie type things, unless they are appearing in really large numbers, most of the time they shouldn't really be giving issues. Okay, yeah, flesh shaper, Initius. Okay, let's just do some horn shouting just to keep things away from me. In larger numbers of enemies, that's where things get interesting. He's 59 to my 54. That's 5 levels advantage. But he doesn't have the firepower against my healing. I say it as he summons a pretty large Storm Titan. But, well, Storm Titan is frozen. I mostly ignored it, and then I killed the boss, and then the Storm Titan just fell over that. And I got myself a revolver. Empowered 3rd Company's revolver. +1 to all skills in soldier. Wait, we're not a soldier, so this is not really all that useful to me. Unfortunately, because, no, it's level 58, base damage is higher, and if I ignore my Hellsbane ammo, the direct damage from that, this is already an improvement over either weapon. So, no, we have found an upgrade, and even the +1 to all skills in soldier. This might not be helpful, but the damage is still quite an improvement. Sometimes that is all that is really important. No, just improving your damage output. Skill bonuses be damned. So this time he was guarding the exit, and as I said, I have noticed him, I think either in the side room or in one of the middle rooms on the side there. But he's also kind of the believe is the highlight of the area. Outside of the boss, it's just some regular mobs and some treasure chests. Nothing to sneeze at, of course. Also, stop trying to shoot me in the back, you silly worms. Yes, thank you. Dynamite? Well, never say no to free dynamite. And yep, we've been here before. Cool. I almost wish that the Word of Renewal duration was longer. 30 seconds, it feels like you're recasting it quite a lot, and it's easy to forget to recast it. If the duration was a bit longer, then you could time the use of the skill as a heal maybe a little bit better. Okay, time to go back to the harbor. And here is a detonation site. This is the shop. The shop from the quest of the guy that could not go through the portal because he was too heavily wounded. Or at least that's what he said. Not quite sure how heavy it is to travel through Rift Cave. How heavy it is on the body, on your mind, or whatever. If you just step in and instantly appear on the other side, or whether there's like this whole journey through the ether that you never get to see, but that is just implied to be there. That might be really harsh. Because if it was just as simple as stepping through a door, then, well, I guess the guy wouldn't really have had a good reason to say no to the travel. On the other hand, as the player, I think we are the only one that can really use the abilities. So it's a little odd. Anyway, we can detonate it. But the dynamite we just found in the lighthouse, so it doesn't tie together that way if you don't have dynamite. But by this time you probably have dynamite. And then over here we have a Richtor's stash. And 17,000 points of experience. We got ourselves an empowered mutiny, which is a gun. Unfortunately, it is acid-based, which is the wrong damage type. Also, bonus to Dreeks, Evil Eye and Vile Corruption point us in a direction that is definitely not our character. Other than that, there's nothing really in there. Oh, did I just... I think I might have had last time that there were more chests in here. Could be that I'm misremembering. But also there's a dynamite here, so don't. Could be that this is also a guaranteed spawn to tie in with the quest. Okay, so next up we have the liberate the liberators, find the rescue parties who are in here somewhere. This one is locked by ethereals, that is because this is tied to a higher tier quest. Wait, then we need to go to the other point. Yeah, okay. So we can just follow the road and then go over there. Okay, so just looking back, a more optimal way to go through here is to take the route, talk to the people, get the quest for Richtor's stash. Then follow the water side, go to the detonation site. You can't go in there just yet. Then just clear the place here and then just move forward rather than going back and forth. There's a little bit more backtracking here than I would have liked. I always keep forgetting that the harbor actually has the extended bit to the north as well. But it could be because I've gone to this bit first on previous occasions and then had to backtrack to the other part for example, for Richter's Stash and for the other quest that is in here that I can't access because of faction restrictions. Because you need to have a higher status with the, not the Black Legion, but the other folks, the Malmouth Resistance, in order to go in there. It could be that it was even that you need to be honored with them. But it could also be respected. That's details of that, I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. Eventually I will, if I just do the content often enough. So for another thing for this build, from a survivability perspective, wouldn't actually be a bad thing to have some life leech. Because I'm doing a decent amount of damage. Also a lot of AoE damage. And a lot of the damage has a pretty severe weapon damage component to it. So if I manage to do some leeching, then that supplements the life regeneration and the Word of Renewal based healing that I've got going on. In order again to just make the build a little sturdier, able to just stand in the same place for a longer time and therefore kill things faster. Okay, a bit of a broken down mess here. But so far I haven't really found a lot of good items with leech on it. And I know you could put a Hollow Fang in your weapon, but know that that's more vitality damage aligned, and the electrifying weapon bonuses are just pretty solid. So giving them up for something like a Hollow Fang would not be ideal. No, the opportunity cost is just too high. Okay, here's some of the folks, so we're gonna send them to town. That's the first of the two search parties. And there is another, let's see. Oh, you were not tied to the crystal, unfortunately, because you're still alive. Bunch of corpses here. And again, the corpses are more rewarding than the actual treasure chest here. Okay, there is Yvonne's Rambling. That's at the end of the thing here. So a little path up, but oh, there's monsters. Monsters need to be killed. So let's do that first. Alternatively, going back to the devotions, which we haven't really done a lot with in recent episodes because there's not a lot of devotion shrines in this area. Picking up something like the Dryad would be useful to have a relatively consistent heal available. I think the Dryad is something I've planned for this build for later. Because right now the plan is to go for the Scythe and then go for Ultos. Now grab one of the ultimate ones relatively early on. After that, I think the Dryad is one of the ones that is planned to be taken. Because the Dryad right now we're gonna go Scythe. Which has just a variety of very useful things, and then we're gonna go to Ultos, Shepherd of the Storm. Eventually wanna grab the Hand of Ultos to do a decent chunk of damage. Now there's some stunning in here, there's a elemental resistance reduction in here, bunch of damage. Main hand damage component, so this actually scales with the attack spell and procs a bunch of effects. And there's just a lot of aggression in here, a lot of damage. Bonus to crit damage as well. So no, this should really help provide with an offensive boost, which is what the build seems to need right now. But the Dryad over here. No, there's some defensive properties, there's some things. Reduction in poison and bleed duration, so now you're a little bit more sturdy against those damage over time effects. But the proc here, 33% chance on attack, 8-second recharge, so effectively it can trigger every 8 seconds. 3% plus a fixed amount of heal and a reduction in poison and bleed duration for the remainder of the duration. So it's a relatively frequent heal that you can trigger. And now you can attach it to something like one of these procs that have a 20% chance to proc. So that should have the chance to attack actually kick up, because there's a decent synergy between that, and the chances do adjust based on what you select. So if I were to put it on something like a Horn of Gendar, which has a 6-second recharge, then it's almost certain that the 32% chance to attack would actually go up to 100%. So that whenever you use the horn, you get healed. So no, that will be another option as well. But putting it on something that just procs means you don't have to think about it. And attacking is the one thing that you're more or less certain you'll keep doing in this build. Because, well, things need to die. There's the resistance bomb. Okay, might as well just take the extra steps here to work my way into Crown Hill, get the waypoint, things like that. Then we'll wrap up a couple of the other quests. As I said, this would be an extra long episode, and I was not kidding about that. But yeah, it's a bit of an awkward area because Steelcap District and the harbor, they're intertwined enough that you just want to do them in one sitting. Okay, it's very convenient, no bomb was there, detonation site is here. And then we blow ourselves a way through, and then we have a gate here. And Mr. Ulgrim appears. A wild Ulgrim appears. So it gives us the quest, and then we're just gonna go back to where we came from. Could have dropped the portal a bit earlier and then just use the gate to go back to the portal. Oh, things you realize in hindsight. Oh, there's a crystal to the side there. These bile eaters are sturdy buggers. On the other hand, they freeze. And if they freeze, they can't really do much against me. And there's Yvonne's memory. So at this point we have the option of giving it back to her directly in town. You can chat with her, and then in town, in somewhere to the north, a strongbox will actually be something that you can open. It has the potential to have a pretty good item in it. Let's see, I seem to remember there being something here. Yeah, let's see, Exalted Stash. But I've now never actually done the second part or the other part of the quest to look for the secret stash. So, well, always want to try that. There was one place, man. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I'm mixing places where there was also a situation like this, where you could actually walk outside of the bounds of the area and find like a treasure chest. But I guess the Exalted Stash here was already enough. We still have to rescue Hiram. So there's treasure boxes in here, so let's actually go through in here. Oh, you're a regenerator. How cute. You know what? I'll damage you. And grab all of this. Good. Let's see. Shit leather leggings. I think this was actually our old pants. Chance to avoid melee attacks is pretty neat. bit of cold resistance is pretty neat. Night's Chill is a Nightblade thing, so it's not really useful. Bonuses to pierce and cold damage, they are relevant for this build. But, well, not relevant enough to upgrade out of it to something with a lot more resistances. Okay, nothing there. Okay, I think we cleared most of the space. It is one of the downsides, of course, now because you reveal the map as you go. So it is really easy to rely on what you have and have not revealed. But if you walk on one side and then walk on the other side, then the inner bit is going to be revealed even though you haven't been there. That makes it easy to overlook. Oh, this place though, we'll need to backtrack, and then it's gonna be fogged, and I think it was indoors, so I might as well go there. XP slowly ticking through, might hit level 55 here as well today. Though no, on quite a bit of a long stretch to getting some more of the demolitionist skills after I spent quite a lot of skill points on the Inquisitor tree early on. So no, this is, in terms of progression, it feels like a little bit of a dead spot because all you're doing is just increasing numbers without getting new skills or interactions in return. Which I guess is maybe my main gripe with the skill system in Grim Dawn, is that a lot of point investment, it feels like now you're advancing along the track and you're not really getting a lot of it. No, except for the base stats, but if you want specific skills that are further along the road, you might spend quite some time just investing points without meaningfully altering the build. On the other hand, now you could also say, no, then don't get yourself in a situation where that happens by just more regularly investing in your mastery bar earlier on. Because now I'm trying to cross a large part of the demolitionist skill tree after level 50, which is when you get less skill points. So no, could also say that that's just an error in planning. Okay, so there's nothing really here anymore, so let's go back. We can have a chat with Captain Wilfer, because we need to be back here. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Might as well just walk a bit to go for Yvonne's memory first and then go back. Hey, I completely missed these guys. And there's some resistance fighters here. Okay. Oh, you are the good guys. Cool. Oh, I guess I did liberate the place. Having this broken out means you can get back here rather quickly. So, no, there's that. It's a little awkward, but the backtracking is not too bad. And then we can go in here. And I think it was somewhere in the bottom here. There was one of these torches that was not lit. That could be moved, but nothing happened. And I think so this is the torch, and there was a door down here. Hear the sound of stone shifting nearby. That opens up a door here. And then there is a crypt entrance down there. This is new to me. A mad stash. So there's a decent number of Yvonne's stashes down here. So there's 2 green items. Another 2 green items. Let's see. This is she was quite a hoarder. Also in charge of anatomy and things like that. Another stash. And a first blue. Silk Touch hand wraps. They're a little low level compared to a purple. Another one. Another blue item. Razor Leaf Glaive, that's a two-handed sword. +1 to all skills in Shaman and healing winds on attack. That's pretty neat. I always like built-in heals. And I think that could make a Shaman even more sturdy than it normally already is. And another Yvonne stash with another Spirit Weaver Circlets. +1 to Occultist and Arcane. With very assorted bonuses and 2 more greens. So yeah, this is definitely a good place. There's outlines here of more. That always makes me wonder, of course, is there actually more? So let's shift the perspective around a little bit. See if there's anything else here. Okay, this is just blocked. Because now, what would be better than a secret? A secret within a secret. As you can see it, but it could also be that this is just scenery. Now a room provided for some context, but nothing really more than that. And I think that is it. So let's stop being too greedy, be happy with what I found. Then we can go back. So we still have the remainder of the area to clear. Then we can go back, have a chat with folks in town, and then call it an episode. So there's actually some ghosts in here. It's been a while since we've seen ghosts, so it is nice that they have a little bit of a place here and some undead. It's now, especially if you are using some items that can only drop from ghosts, such as the not ghostly shields, things like that. It is nice to have access to a relatively high level place that has reliable ghost spawns, so you can farm it for ghost item drops. Also, stop trying to slow me down. Feels like I'm being slowed down here. And there's a priest there. That doesn't help either. Priests heal things, that's why priests must die. Oh yeah, wait, there was another little secret in here. Much more obvious, since there's some hidden spoils to get to that clearly doesn't appear to be on the map. And that is one of the things that really drove me mad last time I was in here. I think I went up and down here like 3 times just to figure out if there was something I overlooked when I moved that torch and nothing visibly happened. But no, things are kind of wrecked here, but there's a crumbling wall over there that connects to the remainder of the place. And again, these enemies are relatively slow. Numbers are not too great. So that means they're just gonna get turned to dust. They're not even gonna bite the dust, they're gonna get turned to dust. That others can bite then. Or, I guess in case of ghosts, they're gonna get turned into ectoplasm. And then we shoot this and we go through. And then there's another hidden spoils. And oh no, getting attacked from behind. But they did not bring their best ghosts. And scrap was the best from that one. That's a little disappointing. This is just a little ledge. Some other places down there. There's more places that hint. A wall that even fell apart. And this was also a bit tantalizing. No staircase with some rocks underneath. Could there be something there? There never was, as far as I know. crypt in here. Okay, there's these two priests in the back. Let's see if we can focus on those. And then take care of whatever is next to me. Oh, Frost Revenant. I'll take a small step aside here and take it out. Ornate strongbox with another green item. Now doing these side areas, it is definitely worthwhile in terms of item drops, in terms of gold and XP that you get from it. We didn't actually hit 55, but we still have to have a chat with Ivanda. And I think this was a dead end, yeah, because again there's just rubble on the road. And this takes us back outside to the square inside of the temple. Oh, just next to where we started. So we've got the Crown Hill waypoint. That means we can now go back to town and hand in things. So Captain Wilfer, let's do that one first. Just couldn't leave them, so that was enough XP to get us forward. Then, of course, Quirinia wants to have a chat. She's happy that we helped. That's more XP. It just keeps piling on here. And in terms of the Malmouth resistance, we are 200 experience shy of the next thing. Also, one of the things in between episodes, at the end of last episode, this guy, I don't think he was there. Just like the stash, the smuggler there, wasn't there either. Once you go back to the main menu and you come back, they actually do appear. During this episode, while doing the quests, the Forge Master appeared, and these folks here will also have, one of them is an inventor, I think Nadia is an inventor, and Hiram will sell you blueprints and other useful things, crafting materials, once per login session. So this is very, very useful, but I don't think they're doing anything just yet, but it could be that now after I load back in that it will be fixed. We were gonna go to Ivanda. And down there. Also illusionist, Renna down there I think is the seer. So, Ivanda, the note. Have you found my note to remember? What did I write? What should I remember? Well, there's directions to something. Directions? Directions to what I forgot. Of course. You didn't go there, did you? Was it there? What I lost, did you find it? Did you take it? Ooh, choices. So if we lie, I wonder if we get access to the reward we would have gotten. If we tell the truth, would we get some kind of bonus for that? I've always been taught to be honest, so let's be honest here. Yes, I went there. What I forgot, you took, didn't you? I did, but I'm sure you won't remember. That's feels a little callous. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking all the loot. Doesn't really seem to matter that much. So dialogue down there. So I think there is space for a loot box or something down up there for when you lie to her or simply don't go there. Rivia, what can I do? My mother and my daughters were taken when the Candle District was attacked. Those things just poured through the city, rounding up women and children. Some were taken alive, but they even took the dead. I don't know if they're alive, but maybe mercy if they're not. But I need to know. Can't live thinking that maybe they're out there somewhere suffering. I'll do. So this ties in to where we have to go next, to Crown Hill, and then after that, of course, we're gonna have to wrap up. But for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.